DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, Valencia? This is DreamHack Open, and it is just about time to get in our winners matches. It's been a long day of matches, best of ones, of course, unless you're Virtus Pro. Went by rather fast, but you know what? That is exactly how this game of Counter-Strike works. Sometimes there's a winner, and ultimately there's always a loser. So, nonetheless, we do have quite a few bangers here. We've got North and Heroic ready to square off in just a few minutes, but first, it will be myself, Trey Stunna-Saranthus, as well as my what is he?
What do you want to call us? Amigos?
I wanted to say amigos. I wanted to say something like, you know, esteemed colleagues, but then
Brothers
I kind of
from
realized,
other mothers?
yeah, that one can work. Guys, of course, this is Bleh and Sponge. Quite a day of Counter-Strike so far.
Yeah, look, there's been some interesting results. I don't think, you know, coming into this tournament, I think as soon as we opened the segment, I said it's a mess. And it has been a bit of a mess. Nothing is unexpected. Even a 16-1 from Frags versus VP isn't outside the realms of reality, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. But moving into this next one here of North versus Heroic, it's another matchup that is pretty much a 50-50, mainly because of this whole roster situation with North right now.
Yes, that does add just a little bit of, I guess, intricacy to the problem that is always coming to an event with a new lineup is never healthy. Look, this is how Group A has played out thus far. It has brought us to North versus Heroic. Now, in the lower bracket, you'll note Giants and Ego did catch L's earlier against them both. So they will be squaring off in the lower bracket elimination games tomorrow, which are best of 3, and they will have to battle their way on to the playoffs. But it's going to be a long road for those guys.
Yeah, I think Group A kind of played out the way kind of expected, except for, you know, the Ego Heroic matchup, which was a 50-50, right? So I think this one's going to be pretty much according to plan, except for Group B. You're not going to be talking about Group B, right? But Group B is a complete mess, like you mentioned, right?
Yeah, we have the two teams who, on paper, should be in the upper bracket and the lower bracket. So, hey, that's just the way it happened.
And VP are playing G2 next, so, oh, gee.
Ah, well, that was a quick tournament for them. So, look, they get to play tomorrow, though. It's a best of 3, so maybe we'll see some more rounds.
Perhaps there's more than one round to come along. Rather than the dog rolling over as is, let's talk about map beaters, because right now we're on North and Heroic, and again, this is a best of 1. It does have that chance to be volatile, and, well, I guess it could ultimately just be a complete surprise.
If it's Mirage, I think Heroic will be very happy with the Mirage here. If it's North, they can play the map. Mixwell should be able to find his ways to be a little bit more proficient and free on the T side in that kind of regard. It could be an Inferno again, I guess.
Could be Nuke as well.
Both teams are pretty happy it's not Nuke. Yeah. I think we should stay away from a map like Nuke.
I think it's going to be Nuke, Mirage, or Dust too, one of these three.
This might be one of the rare occasions where we see North ban Nuke, because with the stand-in factor, it's a lot...
Mirage.
What?
Go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to say, it wouldn't make much sense. There we go, it is Mirage. So it's lucky I can predict the maps and not the teams. But yeah, this makes sense because Mixwell can have a lot of freedom on this map, and it's one of the most played maps in the whole pool. It's one of the highest played maps at all the tournaments over the last year. So it's just easy to slot him into this. It isn't something that's foreign. There's not too many intricacies in terms of strategies. Everyone knows how to throw the A wall of smokes. Everybody knows how to do a basic B execute. Everybody knows timings, how to pick. You need to get mid control, etc., etc., etc. It isn't like Overpass where you have like maybe a very fragile system, or Nuke where your executes need to be down to a T. Right? This could be a little bit different, can be a bit more freedom, but this is one of the maps where Heroic and the more aggressive style has actually reaped a lot of rewards recently, so let's see if that changes with Asilian as the in-game leader. Yeah, with Asilian in the driver's seat now, this could be a much different story, but even if you think about the preparation either team has had coming into today, much less this winner's matchup, could be a totally different ball game. I do believe we're going to be talking about North first, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes we're mistaken and sometimes we aren't, but I do like steak. I had one yesterday. Very nice. AZ, KRB, MSL, Mixwell, and Voldemort himself are here. That's the name that should not be spoken. Voldemort? Yeah.
You used it.
Voldemort. Tom Riddle. Oh, my bad. I never watched Harry Potter, so...
Oh.
You haven't read it either?
No.
Trace doesn't read.
Read. We don't do that in Alabama.
We don't even get teleprompters, mate. It's all from the top of our head. They don't even have books in Alabama. But
it's true.
I think North did a really good job. They had a slow start, and then they just turned it around and locked it down. One of the positive signs from that matchup was everybody stepping up individually when they had to. The Giants running into the blender, getting multi-frag time and time again. Here they're obviously talking through some strategies with Mixwell, just to, hey, maybe we do this one, or I need you to throw this smoke, or this. It's fine, the details. This is fixing issues and plugging holes in a ship on the fly, basically. So they're going to need the star individuals like Kirby, like the AZs of the world, to step up here and have a really strong performance, because a lot more pressure is going to be put on the shoulders of MSL, especially on those T sides, to do mid-round calling and call a little bit more pug style.
Which could be interesting as well, right? Like how they're going to fit in Mixwell into that mix. Because if you look at the CD side, he was running around, I wouldn't say like a headless chicken, but he was just running around from one side to the other. It's like he was just given free reign. Well, there was no system to the madness.
It kind of felt like they were using him like Mertz, but Mertz would know all the protocols for the bits and pieces. So when they would set him up to solo or banana, they would do that with Mertz historically as well. When they did their 3-man B-lean and he opts the arch side, same kind of thing with Mertz, but Mertz knew what he could get away with a little bit more. This is for Mixwell, it's just being said, hey, you go here and you do whatever fits, man. You just do whatever you're comfortable with and hope that it works. I think someone who has dropped off in recent times is the man on your screens in terms of Valder. If you go back about 2 or 3 months ago, he was the most consistent star within this roster and the one that was the shining light for me, while Kirby and AZ were still finding their feet. But it feels like times are changing and he's going back to a little bit more of that rock style player, which he's known for clutching and on the CT side locking down bomb sites. So we're going to see MSL on the screen soon, because he's actually walking past the camera right now.
Hey, so MSL, how's it going?
He might appear on stage any moment.
Yeah, he actually waved at us. You could tell he was thinking heavily about the match. Didn't really want to acknowledge your wave, chat, but he waved to me, so that was cool. I'm glad that kind of panned out in my favor. Now, let's talk about the other team here in this matchup. It's Heroic. Blay, what do we know?
You know what? Just looking at the 2 matchups we had today, when Heroic played Ago and then, of course, Giants playing North, I think Heroic will have looked the most impressive team of all here, right? I mean, of course, apart from Frax, who's completely stomping VP. But if you just look at the way they were playing, very aggressive. They were, on the T side especially, they were like swinging out wide. Helped out a little bit by the fact that Ago were playing very passively, but aggressive style, great utility usage. They were faking pretty well on the T side, on overpass, and also the aggression. There were a couple of rounds where just a blitzkrieg into the bomb side, just catching teams off guard. Now that is something which they could potentially try against North and could really work out, especially on a map like Mirage.
I think coming into this matchup right here, as I talked about previously, with Heroic looking pretty proficient on Mirage, it was because they just did the fundamentals well. And I think it will be a very similar thing here in this game, but both teams on the T sides are going to be a lot more explosive than what we're used to. It's going to be a lot more brawly, which means we should, in theory, get a lot more post-plant situations. That works in both favors for that of a North roster, because they can just put Mixwell wherever they have to on the CT side and still have their structure. If you're that of Heroic, that's a positive sign. It means if they're not going to change their CT game plan too much, all the demo watching you've done hasn't been for naught. You can still use those tendencies. You can still look at the way that different players like to hold their parts of the map. Hey, MSL's the B anchor. How are we going to try and exploit that? Or AZ's over this part of the map. He likes to do this, and followed by this. This is one of his favorite positions to hold. You can still look at all these things and counter them. Whereas the likes of Heroic, having a new in-game leader come in, a lot of things can change. The pacing is one of those big things, like when are they going to go for those aggressive plays? Is it well known how Asilian likes to approach the map on the CT side? And these are questions which we will need answered very quickly.
Well, there's absolutely no way that we can see a plethora of set pieces outside of anything sort of standard in the meta right now. I think
it won't be anything game-changing by any means. Yeah, it's going to be a very standard game of Counter-Strike. I think it'll probably be one of the more exciting matches of the day. I did tout Heroic as Ago as potentially match of the day, but this one here is setting up to be a very nice one, because it is kind of a domestic derby in some regards. We have 3 Danes, 2 Swedes versus 4 Danes and a Spaniard. So this is quite a menagerie of people, I suppose.
7 Danes. I guess it counts as a domestic derby.
Yeah. And I think in a way, I'm pretty sure, actually we can look at the head-to-head here, but I'm pretty sure that Sweden and Denmark are technically still at war. But
they hate each other, don't they?
It's something like that. I don't know. Everybody gets along when I'm around there, so that's kind of nice. MSL versus Asilian. Now, guys, why is this our head-to-head?
Because they're both the in-game leaders for each squad, and the impact they can have is not only seen here on the scoreboard, as Asilian led the way in that opening matchup, but it is through the decision-making throughout. Now, I do believe that the coaches also are allowed to speak a lot during the match. There's no restriction. I don't think they can only talk in pauses. I'll probably get told if I'm wrong at some point, but I think that's a factor, Trace.
Here's a factor. Stop typing XD in chat. I swear if I see one more XD in chat, we're going to have a huge problem. Use !NOR or !hero to get your vote in right now in the Twitch chat on who you think will be walking away with this first winners match of the day, North or Heroic. Now,
can I get your rendition again?
Which rendition?
Of Hero.
Hero.
Yeah, the song.
I want to be a hero.
Be a hero, baby.
We'll take your breath away.
And let's hope that Heroic do take our breath away with a fantastic game of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what we're going to have to do here. But, I mean, just looking at these GG.bet odds, Bled, talk to me through these numbers, man.
Kind of makes sense, right? Like North would be the kind of the favorites coming out of this matchup,
Sure.
but I think it's a little strange that the odds are a little so skewed considering they have a stand-in, right? Like you have Mixwell playing. So I don't quite agree with these bets.
I guess Mixwell's no slouch by any means. We're saying he's a stand-in, but he's played, you know, with the Optic roster when they won the E-League season. They know what they're doing, right? He definitely knows how to fit into a roster, and that team was more of a playmaking squad. Now, he can definitely get away with similar things within this North team. There is just the structure there. Now, I think the structure probably, having a stand-in hurts MSL more than anybody. So if he can still play well, having a stand-in, having a call on the fly, then that's really positive signs for North. But it's very difficult for me to, you know, pick which way this one should go. So what I'm going to do is, when we get to that prediction segment, Trace, I've got a...
Why don't we just...
You want to do it now?
Why don't we just go ahead and just jump right into the 3 reasons why, Bled? Let's just do the 3 reasons, just knock it out right now.
3 reasons why. 3 reasons why Heroic are gonna win this game. Well, first thing, North are playing with a stand-in, right? Now, we do agree that even Asilian is like the first, you know, he's also kind of like a new player on Heroic, but he has played Heroic in the past. They look better as a unit because he is the in-game leader, while Mixwell, it kind of looked a little, he kind of stood out like a sore thumb on that first matchup. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's a domestic matchup. It's a domestic derby, and we all know, you know, the underdogs always seem to pull off these crazy upsets, and Heroic are kind of a small underdog in this particular matchup, right? Reason number 3, a little bit of a stretch here, but looking at his first matchups, it looked like Heroic looked a little bit more impressive than North. North took a while to come back after, I think it was 0-7 deficit against a team like Giants, who are massive underdogs here. While Heroic and Ego, Heroic just came out all guns blazing, winning it very convincing. So yeah, I think Heroic are going to take the W.
And those are your 3 reasons, brought to you by Hacks GG. Chad, you know all about Hacks.
Yeah, they got some merchandise that you can purchase on the line. Hoodies, shirts, caps,
Hacks.
all the good stuff. Pins.
Pins.
I like the pins. Pins
Definitely
are my
a fan
favorite.
of the pins. And of course, I think now we need to move on to the actual predictions, Chad.
Well, we got Blaze.
We got Blez. We know where Blez sits here. What about you, Mr. Burchill?
So I've grabbed a coin, and on the front here we have a picture of a man's head, and then as in Australia we call the side with the number tails, not number, but then we call it. Yes, this is €1. So I'm going to flip this. Heads will be Heroic, tails will be North.
All right.
And we'll see who's going to win the game.
See what happens.
It is tails. Tails is North. I'm going with North, ladies and gentlemen, based off a coin.
Okay. Pretty fair assessment, I do believe. That is how the analytical game works. Of course, I've been doing it all day, and I feel at the rate that I'm going, and my success chances...
You're going to get wrong one eventually.
I think
you're 4-0 right now.
Yeah, 4-0. I think I should just go to the casino and just hope for the best.
There is a slot machine back at the hotel, just saying.
I did see that last night. I'm going to go ahead and side with Heroic, mainly because Asilian seems like a man who knows what he wants.
Okay.
And he's going to try to demand that out of his player.
Wait, I went for Heroic. That's
all right. We can fix it.
Maybe
we'll
next
fix
time,
it in post-production. It's all good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But I know what I want, Trace, but I can't always have it. So what do you say about that?
Well, what is it, Chad?
Well, Counter-Strike related, I want like a Dragon Law. It's not easy to get.
It's not that easy to get, but you know what is easy to get is the Twitch chat results, Chad. We can't steam through. We can't forget about those that keep spamming XD and Bible Thump in chat. And if you look at it, they do side on the side of North. Are they crazy?
No, they're not, because that's what the coin said, and the coin's never wrong. Money talks.
And?
Logical.
What walks, Chad?
Bullfrogs.
Bullfrogs walk. You heard it here first from Chad Sponge Burchill. Well, guys, I do believe that is exactly where this one stands, and I think we're almost ready to jump into this one. Mirage, though, it'll be the first time we've seen it today. Anything in particular we should be looking for?
Aggression. A lot of aggression from both the teams.
I just think it's going to come down to those post plans. Whoever's going to win those retakes or win those 2v2 kind of situations is going to come out on top, and that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but I'm expecting high-paced Counter-Strike that is going to end up with a lot of bomb plants, for sure.
Yes, one team will win this game, one team will lose this game, but ultimately we're all going to be losing for just a few minutes. As we do cut to a quick break, I know, put your what face away. We're going to be going to a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be North versus Heroic, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, it's just turned at 6 p.m. here in sunny Spain. Things are still pretty warm outside, but they're even hotter in the server. It's all heating up between North and Heroic, and I'm excited to see this one. We have a bit of a Scandinavian showdown with some Spanish spice thrown in just for good measure.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting match, and there's also going to be a clash of styles here, since of course North will have the standard, and they also are now calling and communicating in English. That changes so much. But Heroic recently picking up Asilian, signing him on the contract. Rubino now out of the team will also have a bit of a different style. So we're going to be looking at how these two teams are going to be building into the rest of the year and the start of the new season, because we're getting very close to the end of the first season of 2018 with the player break coming up in a few weeks. So this is going to be a kind of a small taste of what Heroic and North are going to be looking like in that second season of the year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this North roster perform, and will the lone Spaniard that joins the Danes mix well in this roster. You know, I think it's a pretty 200 IQ sub pickup. You take a look at a player who's very, very skilled, showed his worth on a lot of top teams, and you know, kind of doesn't really have anything to do right now. And then naturally, by picking him up, you give yourself the home crowd advantage. You know, you're going to be you know, one of two teams here with Spanish representation in it.
Yeah, the question is in these AWP duels that we're going to see throughout this this map, will Mixwell get a couple of easy tags maybe, or is it just going to be the Dane winning those? We know he can be proficient when he picks up that AWP as well.
Ooh, there we go, Risk. You're
that's a match, you
yeah,
know?
no, I can agree. That's nice. Of course, Heroic, last time they were here in Valencia last year, you and I, we got to witness that. They placed 3rd and 4th along with Team Envious, off the top of my head, I believe is how that went down. And then we had, you know, NIP coming first, Red Reserve second. And I mean, that's even more interesting. I think, off the top of my head, Valencia was one of the first events for NIP after removing Freiburg and bringing in Rez. And of course, they won it out. It was a good showing. Now, Freiburg, the man who's been once removed from the NIP roster, joining up with Heroic, looks to try and outdo their performance from last year. And I think this Heroic roster have a lot of promise, I'll be honest with you. I love that they brought in Freiburg. Now you have Asilian at the helm, being the in-game leader. They've started to slot together a few pieces of the puzzle that I think, you know, could make them a pretty deadly team to come up against.
Yeah, they're a really, really interesting team to look at. The only thing that I think they miss right now, and this is not to take anything away from S-Attack and whoever picks up the AWP, but they need a very skilled AWPer to pick up and be that main role in the team, because yes, S-Attack can play it and a lot of other people can also play it in situations on this team, but they don't have a specific main AWPer on this team, and that's what I feel like is the only thing they miss to be a really nice contender for the top 15, top 10.
Well, we're about to head into this one. It is the winners match on Mirage. It's all on the line. One of these teams will be gaining the fast track into the semis and have a day to go and explore the wonderful city of Valencia tomorrow. Heroic over on the CT side, North kicking things off on the T side, and they've already expelled all the utility they invested in this round. You can see it's got them down through mid, but Freiburg hiding in this smoke on short, looking like he was considering going through. Ops against it, Modi. MSL gonna go walking in with his crosshair. Easiest kill you're gonna see him get in this whole map. Freiburg looking like he might get tested over and short. Asilian, the man with the brains for Heroic, tries to hold down the bomb site, but his brains go everywhere. S-Tag gonna come rotating in along with Nico, and North get mopped up in a matter of seconds, only losing one man over on the side of Heroic.
Yeah, and I think this round is a good example of how this map is going to flow out, because what North tried to do there is a very, very standard B split where you take control of mid first, then you have one guy going into the connector, one guy playing up towards the smoke on short, and the rest is waiting to explode onto the B bomb site. That is very easy to read for a veteran in-game leader like Asilian. So the second that they lose these first couple of players and he takes the battle on B, he just calls a complete strat out. And then Heroic won out in the individual duels afterwards. It's going to come down to those individual duels, as Chad also mentioned on the desk. We're probably going to see a lot of bomb plans, because it's going to come down to those, like who can go and get the entry into the bomb site, because the strats are not going to be that impressive for these two teams right now.
Nico's in a tough spot, going to get helped out by S-Tag. Valdez does find him, so they've managed one kill at least onto a man down in middle, but S-Tag still hanging around, tapping away with the Famous. Beats another, and there we go. This should get converted.
Oh.
So Kirby, wouldn't be the first time he's surprisingly left a roster he's been a part of, but hopefully he does come back for North. AZ left 1v4 inside of this bomb site, and now they're hunting him down, trying to find him in a position where he could do damage with the Deagle. Don't want to risk giving too much up, because you look at it, it's mostly rifles still in play from Heroic.
Yeah, that's nice from AC.
Yeah, he's managed one. Chance to do that much more, only 7 HP on him, so he should be dealt with.
Yeah, Asilian will be the one to face, because he has 100 HP and an MP7. These two FAMAS players are low on HP, so they don't want to challenge him, just in case he gets that shot in. Asilian will take it in the end. 3 FAMAS is picked up, and it's not too bad for Heroic. They're going to take that and be happy with it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, something that's quite interesting with this North roster now, having Mixwell here at this event, kind of spoke about how that might make the home crowd opt to root behind them. But not only that, right, I think one of the reasons why we see some of these stand-ins being, you know, pretty viable, all things considered, is for someone like Mixwell who's kind of been out of the action. He played in G2 very, very briefly, right, and didn't really accomplish much there. He's kind of like, you know, looking to show his worth. This is like, this is a nice way of advertising for him to potential organizations to pick him up, whether that's North, whether that's someone else. But
a lot of players actually in that scenario right now. We also saw fights at the CAS major, a player without a team who actually has a really, really high level.
Yeah.
He came in to help Plink, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was Plink.
It's kind of the same scenario here. Also, of course, a bit higher level in both teams that he's helping and the stand-in coming in. But yeah, we have a lot of players in Counter-Strike because of the way the contract works right now and the way the teams are kind of finding out their rosters. So it's interesting to see a stand-in.
Yeah, especially when there's so many strong players that are existing, you know, that you can use. We've seen Croman, for example. Exist also stood in for FaZe for a bit, and then that led to him being picked up by Fnatic. So it's been a pretty tried and tested method of having these players go above and beyond what we'd normally expect from them. Just pushing it towards B. There should be a round that goes the way of Heroic. Pretty convincing. That's why we're just talking over the top of it. Yeah. Everyone gets picked up. Heroic going to win the pistol and convert the 2 anti-ecos, but now the buy comes in for North over on the T side. Taking a look at the money, there's not enough for Mixwell to be on the AWP, so instead it's going to be rifles across the board. And you look at Heroic, they're going to attempt the bonus round.
Big bonus here. 3 FAMAS's 1 MP9 and only Nico with a full upgrade. So if they can take this one and get a 4-0 lead, it's looking very nice economy-wise for Heroic. North on the other side, they need to make a difference now. S-Attack will complete the jump, get into ladder room, and once again, it's the same standard setup. You take mid control, you smoke off, get a player into connector. This time around, they're setting up for the A-split, though, not the B-split as we saw in the pistol round. Mixwell caught behind with Molotov. Nice opening by Nico to hold AC back.
Are you going to swoop on in to help out right now? Lots of damage being done, considering this is the bonus from Heroic. They have yet to have had more than, what, 14 points of damage inflicted. Freiburg going to find one more down in the realms of mid. Asilian trades back with the MP9, and it's just Kjaerbye left in a 1v4. Bomb on his back, an AK in hand, and one smoke to work with, but that does not inspire much confidence here for the lone gunman on the side of North.
This hasn't been the start that North was hoping for. But then again, they had a very bad start against Giants and still managed to turn that around. But the opposition in this game, at least on paper, and I'm pretty sure 99% of the viewers would agree that it's a bit stronger than what Giants had to deal against them. CS attack with the position here. Rotates back to stairs. No real reason to face or do anything aggressive. Kjaerbye is going to come to you. You can just spray through the smoke, hold positions, make sure you bring the weapons into the next round. And that's exactly what they're doing. They want to take this frag onto Kjaerbye, get the AK over to Marty so they have a full rifle setup. 3 AKs as well. And yeah, they will get it. S-Attack will probably throw that over. That will exactly be the case. 4-0 for Heroic. Now equipped with 3 AK-47s. And already now 3 AKs on the CT side is showing a clear signal that Heroic are dominant so far.
Yeah, North going to be partial buying down across the board for the most part. You can see Mixwell saving a little bit more so he can bring that AWP out. This is a fantastic start though for the Danish-Swedish mix over on the side of Heroic. You love seeing Danes and Swedes living in perfect harmony.
Yeah, Marty is definitely the figurehead for that. Speaks perfect Danish.
Well, S-Tag found himself too. Nico's going to come on in to help mop up the remaining players. It's partial buy from North, getting not too much done. It's Valdi left in a 1v3. has a CZ to play with. As strong as it is, I don't have too much confidence in this man right now.
Not really. Also with the instant rotation towards the B bomb side from one of the players. So he has to win a 1v1 with 1 HP. That means the Cillian has to make a mistake, and a big one to not win this duel, and then he has to clutch the rest of the round 1v2 with 1 HP, and that just doesn't happen. Another interesting thing is, of course, with the Cillian coming in, Heroic are officially Danish again, and this also brings them into the battle, because in Denmark right now, apart from all the results and being very focused on winning tournaments, of course, there's also the battle of being number 2 after Astralis. And there's currently North, Optic, and Heroic now. They're battling for that second spot, and no one wants to be third, no one wants to be fourth in Denmark. It's a battle for the secondary spot, and Optic bested North over at the last DreamHack tournament in summer, and this is now the chance for Heroic to come in and say, okay, well, we're definitely not fourth. Definitely better than North.
Don't know if you meant the rhyme, but it really did work well, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm a poet.
You threw it in there, you know. You opted to risk it all, and it did pan out. Here's Freiburg falling over in mid. Mixwell, there we go. The home crowd hero finding that first frag onto Freiburg.
Now the rotation is coming in. But let's see, Cillian is so aggressive, so he hears the footsteps, but he also hears that no one is coming from. That's a really nice Molotov though. Kirby will know that Cillian was aggressive. But still, the information is on Heroic side, and that's why S-Attack is holding this position. He knows that he can take one frag and then just get such a big advantage from having all this map control. They're isolating the avenues that North can attack from. They know it has to be ramp or that mid.
It's S-Tag up in Palace that looks to try and cause so many problems. Rotations already starting to peel around from Heroic, as you say. Or even employing a boost onto the warheads. Gonna try and drop bombs onto North, but it doesn't lead to anything just yet. The bomb goes down. I think that's plotted for ramp and mid. That's exactly where they're positioned right now. They're gonna be leaving a man down in middle. That's Kirby. S-Tag emerges from Palace. He's gonna dethrone MSL.
And here comes the push. Smoke should be landing in for this defuse. It's the first one from Nico. And they're trying to see if they can find a few more battles before they defuse. Oh, actually, Cillian is straight on it. That might trick them. Yeah, they're gonna get this. Oh, Kirby, it has to be seconds away.
Nico's back on it. Kirby spraying through. He has found S-Tag, but not the diffuser. Kirby from down in connector connects everything for North, and that's gonna be their first round found on the back of that man on your screen right now.
Oh, I would love to see how close Cillian was to that. I feel like that has to be within the last second of the diffusal that Kirby gets that frag. Perfect timing and perfect read from the man here in the connector. Just sprays away. And that's why that bomb plant is so nice for positions like that. When you can just rotate one player into middle and be sure that he can actually win a 1v2, 1v3 if he just hits the spray correctly. MP7 now on MSL. Taking a worse weapon to make sure that his teammates will get the better ones. Also, lots of utility. 3 Molotovs on North, so definitely potential for creating something strat-wise here. For now, they're just holding back, being very happy with the top mid control, having one player in connector, or not connector, underpass, and potentially going for some connector or window control here. Also wanting to deny the position that S-Attack had last round and aggressive up in the apartments. Yeah, just taking control slowly but surely.
Flashed out from Ladderum. Smoke's raiding in through short. Gonna see MSL attempt to get himself into the window, and while he does fall, he's given Kirby the possibility to trade. 4 and 4 going to benefit North in this scenario. Freiburg now up to the task of trying to trade, but Valdit dispatches of him, almost makes it look easy in that fight. Bomb rotating back round over through apartments. S-Tag just misses the timing on it thanks to that flashbang.
Really nice from Balda that he actually predicts 2 players in that ladder room position, so he stays and focuses on that window. Nico in a great position here, takes the first one and the second. Mixwell goes down. 2v3 now. Muddy can win the round just by denying the bomb plant here. Oh, Nico will do it. 6-1 Harry.
Yeah,
they're looking good, Heroic.
They find that one round in the previous on the Soul stand-up performance from Kirby. All 4 of his kills in the previous round over on the side, you know, come from that one instance of denying the defuse. And now it goes straight back the way of Heroic. That's going to be the reset to come through. As you can see, it's been a bit of an investment here from North. Deagles across the board. They love a deco. Kirby even with some armor to work with.
Yeah, that used to be MSL's favorite back in Source, the good old deco. I have lost many around to that. It's not happy memories. Body with the AK always ready to battle, of course, but nice little D coming out from Mixwell. Now Nico has to hold the position. There's no one close and connected, but Valde onto S-Attack. And now the underpass player connects in from that connector. 3 players still alive on each side, and they don't know that third man coming in. That's Kirby, a free frag onto Nico. The long wait. But now, 1v2 once more. Kirby will be shut down this time around.
The bomb's going to go down there, so they do have a little bit more to invest. You're going to be at the second stage loss bonus, $1,900 plus the $800 from the bomb plant. So it's going to take you to a nice, tasty $2,700 made.
I'm very impressed with the fact that you can do math with your current mental state. For those who don't know, Harry has come straight from another tournament. How, maybe with a couple of hours of sleep. So if you're out there on Reddit or on Twitter, give him some love, because that is impressive. I would probably not be able to speak English right now.
I wish I could run on love and not on sleep. But then actually, no, then I'd be permanently exhausted. I don't ever get any of that either. So, you know, I'd be energetic while I'm at home. If I ever go see my parents, I'd be so lethargic. Regardless, this round, partial buy-in from North. That's thanks to that bomb plant in the previous. They're going to have enough to buy up in the next. S-Tag already kickstarting this round for the side of Heroic. He's had a fantastic start right now. And he was one of the players you kind of brought up. Would he be able to go toe-to-toe with someone like Mixwell? Certainly right now he's suggesting that might be the case. MSL's answered back with 1, though. The bomb's going to go down over here at A. Yeah. Modi waits in CT. The only man who can stop this bomb going down, but he lets them punch in the numbers. Doesn't want to risk giving anything up. And it's a 4v4 in the retake with an M4 up on Valde. Yeah,
it shows that they're confident in their retake potential, and they should be in this situation. Valde is the only one with a weapon, and they should be able to come in here and get this bomb defused. But let's see MSL playing around the smoke.
Well, they're going to try and defuse back.
Oh, this is perfect.
Once again, MSL's in there with a nice bounce. Playing it around, trying to find the S-Tag with the no-scope, and now he's going to hop on that defuse. It's a Cillian trying to stick it, shots right through. Kirby doesn't quite arrive in time, and S-Tag going to smite down everybody on the server. 4 kills for him. Heroic 8-1.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting to a point where I need to take my initial statement back that they need a top upper, because right now S-Attack is really playing a good game with y'all. Gets that headshot, that's just dirty onto Kirby. And just in general, playing a very good game and finding himself, reinventing himself as well, because S-Attack was used to be this support player who would never really go on top of the scoreboard.
That's the most impressive thing about S-Tag, right? I mean, if you remember, he was removed from this team for a while. He came in originally to replace Valde. That was some massive boots to fill. We have that little bit of kind of rivalry between these guys. And S-Tag was brought in as his replacement, and he couldn't do it. Then obviously we kind of had players duck out here and there over on the side of Heroic. S-Tag suddenly thrust into this AWPing role, and he started to reinvent himself now as one of the big names within this Heroic team.
Yeah, and that has to be a point as well for Heroic, because right now, obviously, all teams are looking at their lineups and saying, okay, what can we do better? What can we improve on? And usually you would say, yeah, S-Attack, probably maybe even move into a different role or just have him off the lineup. But I don't think that's a very viable way or even correct way of attacking it right now. Right now, of course, as you talk about him positively, he loses the duel against Mixwell. But still, I have to say he's been impressive throughout the last couple of months for me. Not perfect, but still very impressive.
Well, Cillian has to be perfect right now, and he might be exactly that. He's doubled down. He's bought more than enough time for these rotations to come through. Now the pressure falls on a Freiberg, and he will deliver the first kill. Kirby alone and in a 1v3, but he's been very, very good for North in these sort of clutch scenarios. Finds the first frag on a Nico. Now has to deal with Freiberg and tag down solo. That's an easy fight for Freiberg to win. 9-1 right now for Heroic. Oh my goodness, are we going to see two white, just, you know, complete and utter annihilation games? Of course, we're coming off the back of Fragsters versus VP. That was 16-1 in favor of Fragsters. Currently, Heroic sitting 9-1 up over North. Things very quickly heading south here in this winners match.
Yeah, we have number 10 in the world, of course, North against number 23 in the world in Heroic, and those numbers, they seem not to matter right now. No one really cares about that when the game is live, and now Freiburg and Asilian under heavy pressure on B.
Oh, they're not ready for Asilian. He stands in the Molotov, and he will perish in it. Finally able to deal with him. Freiburg tries to stand his own. It's not going to matter. He falls. It's S-Tag, the first responder. Now the rest of the guys joining up with him. They've gathered an M4. Once again on Valder, the bomb goes down, and it's Heroic on the clock. Lottie leads the charge, and he leads by example. Finds the first frag onto Valder, spots out the remaining players. AZ's going to find him. But now locked in a 1v2. Up on top of the van, has to try and steal this round away, but Nico, swift to dispatch of the lone terrorist. That is going to be Heroic moving into double digits, 10-1.
If you take this as an isolated incident, getting 3 kills, or 2 kills, I don't really remember, and the bomb plant, getting it down to, yeah, a 1v2 clutch with a P250 at car, that's a really, really good eco round. But in the broader context of this game, of being down 1-10, it doesn't really matter that you have a good eco round, because you just need to get rounds on the table. Hopefully this can be a round that kind of spurs North on to play a bit better throughout the rest of this game, because they're not looking at their usual level. Yes, Heroic are playing a good game of Counter-Strike right now, that's not to be neglected, but North are just not up to their individual levels. This is what we came to see. This is AZ, who has had a couple of rough months, but trying to refine his old form.
Yeah, he's been able to secure this early man advantage. Kirby, one of the big danger men for North, tagged down at 20 HP. Asilian is able to deny the bomb plant. That's bought that much more time for these rotations to come through. Now everyone here knocking on their door, but MSL, the man on the map right now, going to be hot on their heels with this flank. He's opened up the B bomb site, and now you can see the pressure that's put on S-Tag and Nico, having to constantly be looking over their shoulder, wary that someone might be ready to slip the knife in their back. Well, Nico, really feel for him there. So many angles to keep an eye on. S-Tag forced into a situation where really he has to back away and save. And North, they're going to be finding their second round here. It's going to go 10-2.
And around from the unlikely heroes on North, like AC and MSL both picking up multi-frag, a double kill. This is not what we expect. This is not what we, like, yes, it's nice to see them getting stuff done, but we came here to see Kirby, we came here to see Mixwell, definitely with Yob, we came here to see Valde. And those three have not really stepped up to a level that we're used to seeing them at, and that's one of the problems here for North. AZ and MSL can get frags in rounds like this, and that's of course fine because they get around, but that doesn't change or fix their problem of these 3 star players not being able to perform to the level that we know they can perform at. Because they are good. They're incredibly good.
Yeah, I mean, they might be finding a second, but it's still a pretty somber environment over on the North camp right now. You can see not too many smiles all around.
Would you say that even though they found a second round, it's still a one-sided game?
I mean, right now, yeah, definitely. I mean, the rounds have been pretty close, though, as well. Something to look at. I mean, North, they've certainly not let Heroic... Yeah, while the scoreline was 10-1 until, like, just rounds ago, they've always kind of come down to tense, you know, 2v1 scenarios along those lines. And then what that's also meant is the economy for Heroic over on their CT side doesn't look that great. You can see the buy coming in here. While there is still money up on Nico, he's going to be able to buy. This is the last buy in the tank for Heroic. If they lose this, North reset them, and that's your avenue back into this game.
This is also why they took a timeout just here. This is the first timeout that they've taken so far. They haven't really needed it until now, but they have some extra time to discuss, okay, what do we do on this defense? They now just broke us 2 times in these last 12 rounds, and we need to challenge that. This is also going to be the full buy, of course, for North. They finally have some money on the bank account. And they're looking to do, yeah, as we do see Kirby picking up that first one, looking to do the split A.
the back of that man advantage. North now pick up the pace. Mixwell not going to check under Palace. And there's a couple of fresh princes here. Nico doubles down. He's going to go back for more, and it's 3 kills for him. Flipping this round on its head almost single-handedly. There is still Kirby emerging now from his hidey hole down in mid. Pulls it back into a 2-on-2. We've seen him have to come up clutch in the past, but this time he's going to fall as that flash comes through, courtesy of Nico to help out Asilian in the connector. And it's easy. 1 versus 2 up in the Palace. 2 frags to find. Nico and Asilian given some time to reposition here.
Still have a Molotov on Asilian. When the timer reaches 20 seconds, I'm probably just going to Molotov either the position of the bomb, but he finds the opening. Nico, the hero of the round, gone down, and now it's doable. Spots now AC, and this is where the Molotov can come into play, but Asilian he's taking the duel, and AC will clutch it. I was almost at a point where I was saying, okay, Nico has won this round for his team, but AC somehow, some way brings it back. But also still, like, when you're making this A execute, you have to have either one of the guys from ramp or the guy from apartments or palace, if you will, to throw that Molotov onto Shade, because that position was left completely unchecked. Danish players, especially Sipnix and Astralis, has done incredible things from that position, and Nico was nothing different here. This is, though, just pistols for Heroic.
You don't imagine they can get much done. Nico, though, is keen with the dig, manages that first kill. Now that the bomb site goes the way of North, though, this should be the round going their way with just the PTK and USP left. A few more frags trickle on in, but North find a 4th round. And that's what we mean by, in spite of it being a 10-1 scoreline, a lot of the rounds, were coming very, very close, and all it took was that singular victory from North. The one round that they managed to make work, and you've crushed the economy of Heroic. They managed to get one last buy into the last round of the half. A chance, though, and a nice recovery from North, a 5-10 half. Not too bad when you consider, as we say, it was 10-1 at one point in time.
It's not impossible. If they win the pistol now, they're not far away from tying the game up. But the problem is, if they lose this and lose the pistol, things could spin out of control real fast. Good flash in the middle, S-attack forced away. He is on a glass cannon right now. So nothing apart from that ult. And even if he gets Molotov, he doesn't even have a smoke to bring himself out of the situation or a flash to run away with. So he has to hit that first shot when he takes it away.
Down here in mid, and they almost land that shot on a Nico. Finally, Mixwell going to be there to pick it up. The Spaniard, in amongst a sea of Danes, secures the man advantage early on here for North. With it, mid control going to go their way. There's S-Tag answering back, though, as he dispatches of Mixwell. 4 versus 4, 50 seconds left on that clock, and North now starting to home in their sights on this B-bomb site.
One rotation coming in, so we have Freiburg as the market player, but currently just watching the murder hole rotation. Asilian is on the bomb site. Doesn't have either smoke or Molotov to keep the T side away. So has to win the duels, has to be confident in his rotation partner coming in.
We've gone running by Asilian, they don't check it once again. He's allowed to find a free kill. Freiburg even swoops in to add not much more to this round for Heroic. Backs up MSL, but MSL is able to win it. The bomb goes down just in the nick of time, and S-Tag almost caught.
Yeah, he was going for the aggressive frag onto MSL. He knew he was low, but now it's possible to play this 2v2, almost crossfire-esque setup where MSL can kind of rotate all back to short, and AC can take the duel close.
And S-Tag, we say he's looked good. Now in a 1v2. Originally added to this Heroic roster to try and fill the boots of Valder. This time, though, he falls short. And that's going to be a 5th round recovered at the end nicely for North. They manage to etch out a pretty decent half, all things. I say pretty decent. They recover nicely. I still don't think 5-10 is where you want to be. I think coming into this North were kind of the team that people expected to do better, maybe even with that stand-in in the form of Mixwell.
Yeah, they definitely wanted, like, to be honest, before this tournament started, we were saying, okay, VP, G2, probably not VP as much, but G2 North, like the teams that we would potentially want to see in a grand final, but that has not been the case so far. Neither of those teams have looked very impressive. And that's still with having players, legendary players on these lineups.
Most definitely. So pressure mounting here for North. A pistol round though, and then the anti-ecos. That could be all they need to propel them back into this game. And you look at it as well, it's been a nice recovery from most of the North boys to get them to this point. Notably though, going to be Mixwell and AZ leading the way. A couple of big rounds from Kirby coming through. Now this all-important pistol round about to be played out. Taking a look at the buy. It's going to be 2 smokes between Nico and Asilian, couple of flashbangs. It's going to be an execute-heavy pistol round as they set up for this A play.
Seems to be a quick A play as well. The smoke from T-spawn onto connector, I think that is, or jungle. Can't really remember all those smokes after the new update. This is their smoke. And now, oh, AC doubles up, triples up. What is that? That's criminal.
AZ's looking unreal down in CT. Wants to try and get more done, and oh my goodness, AZ. What a pistol round it's been from him. The ace as AZ steps up. The age-old saying, easy for AZ. As he secures a 6th round and now gives them a fighting chance back into this game. That was one of the nicest pistol aces I think I've ever seen.
I think that is one of the best USPS aces of all time. Look at that, clean triple kill. Then gets the headshot shot onto ramp, and then the final kill is through the smoke onto stairs. All of them headshot, nothing but headshots, Harry.
Nothing but the best for AZ. Early on, they've gained that man advantage this time on the back of Kirby. MSL's going to get tested though inside of this B bomb site. He has to hold his own, and he's not able to do so, so the bomb can go down. It's Valde over on short who's complicated matters, and he's dropped the bomb. It's dropped away of the guys in shot, but now the round gets mopped up. North 7-10. Yeah, they're making their way back into this game, Risk.
That pistol could be the key part of a turnaround here for North. The way that you can just get your teammates hyped winning a pistol like that, and you know that you still have players on the lineup. Yes, he's not one of the star players anymore, but he can still step up to a level where he can be the difference maker. Just knowing that you have that in your team can gain you so much confidence and can gain you so much momentum. Right now, Heroic are also going to be in the full eco. If they don't manage to win that first buy round, I feel like North are going to take the full control of the momentum in the rest of this first map. Or, yeah, not first map, just map in general.
Yeah, it's scary seeing AZ kind of step up to this level right now.
That's kind of like the level he had just before and just after he joined FaZe back in those days. Those were the golden days for AZ.
Well, exactly, and if you recall, I mean, within this North roster, there was a lot of time where people were calling for his head, right? I mean, back when you think back to when they had Magisk in the roster, and then he, of course, got removed to make way for Balder, I think it was. A lot of people were wondering why it wasn't AZ's head on the chopping block, but right now he's looking to try and show his worth, and he has done exactly that. Kirby keeping an eye on mid, Glock's out from Heroic. But actually, it's going to be Modi to take one to the head.
Mixwell ducking and diving here, finding great shots, and sorry, everyone else, well, SSI will join the party, but surely will be shut down here. As Kirby finishes up, 4K for him. Nice little tap on the shoulder from Ave, the coach, of course, of North. 1.6 legend as well. And interestingly enough, no coach on the Heroic side. They have had a couple of people in that position, but right now, the chair is vacant.
Well, here's that bite from Heroic. We've been waiting for it. It's going to be AKs across the board. No AWP in play for S-Tag, and he's been key with that weapon, so not getting out early on. And then you look over at North. They've fielded in this initial buy on Mixwell. And that's the thing. I mean, we still really have yet to see so many of these big names going off within the North camp. So
that should be the connector smoke coming in. Yep, that is probably my favorite smoke in the game right there. But
what is it about? Do you like its curves?
I just like the fact that you can aim for something crazy in the sky and then it can land and bounce off roofs and stuff. It's probably one of the first smokes I really learned on Mirage that are hard to learn. It's really nice.
Well, this round we've already seen Asilian fall, the IGL for Heroic, one of the I think the newest member of this roster, in fact. having to try and lead his team to victory from beyond the grave. A man down. They're about to go walking into the maws of MSL. It's got to be the brains and the brawn, and he certainly steps up and delivers over here in the apartments, flushed out by that Incendiary. Nico is able to find him. Moddy's good for one, but it's Nico.
Yeah, that
1v3.
That double kill from himself just wins him the round. Like, he's so aggressive, and he gets the double kill and the information as well on the whole play that Heroic were trying to run. That's perfect from him, and such a nice read from MSL as well to position himself aggressively. He's getting so much space that he can make this play happen. Yeah, perfect from him. And as I talked about before, like that one pistol round kind of spurred North on to do great things in the second half.
I mean, this is just a partial buy. This is not where Heroic wanted to be. They were 10-1 up at one point in time. Let's not forget. Now North one away from equalizing this out at a 10-10 scoreline. Found it. A chance for him to start to pick up the pace as well down here towards Connector as he finds frag after frag. Nico Asilian and S-Tag left.
And it's funny that North find themselves on the CT side, find themselves on doing really well in this, because last time we saw them against some really tough opposition, it was a CT side that failed, or almost failed, when they had that 14 or 16-14 game against MIBR. They managed to scrape 4 rounds together on the CT side then, and already now it's way better. Of course, that's down to the momentum and the confidence of that pistol as well, but still. It's nice to see them evolve in some ways, and that's the beauty of CS sometimes, is that you can always evolve as a team, you can always change something, you can always better yourself in some areas, if you put the time in. And yes, they haven't had a lot of time with Mixwell, but it's clear that the rest of the team are working on some of these things, some of these problems that exist within the North camp, because they can only be classified as problems until they are one of the best teams in the world, because that is the goal for this team and this organization. It's not to be 4th or 5th or 10th as they are right now, it's to be the first, it's to be the best.
Things were looking hot for Heroic, but now it's been quelled by a cold breeze from the north. So we're back 10-10. S-Tag finally has the AWP out for Heroic on their T side. And this is a much slower round from Heroic. We've seen quite fast, quite scrappy Counter-Strike thus far. It's something the guys on the desk kind of alluded to what we might see, courtesy of that stand-in as well over on the side of North. This round, though, everything slowed down. Heroic about to give up their lead, a lead that saw them up 10-1 at one point in time. Now about to elude them here, unless they can dig deep. Find results here in round 21.
Set up in default positions right now. Our Heroic just defensive, making sure that the CTs can get extra map control and extra information about where the play is happening. The only place that could be pushed right now is pretty much Palace, and then if they would go in now and push towards Apartment C, that would also be the play, but just staying back, making sure that nothing out of the ordinary can happen, and AZ will go down to a duel. They're trying to force these duels right now, trying to see if they can get away in. Mixwell on the A-bomb side with the AWP though. That'll do the same.
Valby tucked in the hidey hole. It's going to have to now look to step up, but he gets spammed down by Nico. Kierby's found. It's MSL on the wrap round. Then it might not expect this lengthy flank in from the brains behind North, but even then, a 1v5 with the factor of surprise is not an easy task.
And just as North tie up the game 10-10, Heroic come in with a demanding round, just saying, okay, yes, you've done well now. You've had a couple of good momentum rounds. We kind of come in here and shut it down now. The trees don't grow into the sky, my friends. Just chill out. Shut down. No deaths on the Heroic side.
Yeah, and I feel like that's not going to be the last slow default round that we see them play, and then have it all build up into an execute at the very end. They know that the pressure's going to be back on to North now to try and find something. Of course, they lost AZ early on in that previous round, and he's been key to this CT side half for North. There's a big scalp to find. Heroic might not be gifted that this time around, though. And early on, it's leaving Nico to keep an eye on ramps, suspecting that North might try and switch up the pace. The rest of the guys are pretty much dedicated over here towards B and mid. Early on, looking like, you know, maybe we could see a B split come through.
Let's see, Asilian and Freiburg readying up to take mid control. The defensive player towards T ramp is now also rotated in with them. So looking more and more like either a mid control player or B push. Nade top mid won't do a lot of damage, even though it was pretty close, but that's how CSGO is sometimes. And Modi now has made his way. Now all the utilities start raining in. Mid control is a given now. The question is, what are they going to do with it? Is this going to be the B split?
Well, the bomb's still up in apartments. S-tag there. There's 40 seconds left as Freiburg and Asilian start to wrap round through short. The jump peak comes through. Kierby's going to come through and credit, but they're not ready for MSL. S-tag him proud. He's got to make a stand, but Nico trades. Valdez come bombing in towards his bomb site, though. Fast as you like, manages one before Freiburg takes it straight back. And now the pressure on to Mixwell and AZ, the stand-in. The man who's had a star-studded performance in this match left to clutch, but AZ falls, and now it's Mixwell alone and in the shop.
Such a good read by Modi. He hears the footstep, he knows exactly where that player is, and can just shut it down before the retake even becomes a possibility. And it's so nice to have a player on that long flank as a T, just to make sure that, okay, yes, they're in a 2v3, they could probably go for this, but we're going to shut them down even before they get that opening. Just take the confidence out of your opposition, dominate them. 12-10, still a close game. Still a possibility for North to come back. I need to see Kirby especially. He was so good in that first game. I need to see him bring the same kind of level here. Not a bad game for him per se, but not up to the level that we know he can bring.
Yeah, definitely not. Especially, you know, when you are someone like him, you made the decision to kind of leave the best Danish team in an effort to become a star in your own right inside of North. And you know what, I think you can definitely make the case for him being one of, if not the best player inside of this North roster. It doesn't feel like it's worked out for him just yet.
No, it definitely didn't work right away. It's one of those, I feel like North is one of those rosters that it'll take them some time to complete the plan that they have in mind and complete the lineup that can be world beaters. But they have the potential. Right now, Muddy walking out B, just completely clearing it. We'll see one. No 4-3 here. Muddy will catch the CT, or at least the vision of it. And there's the kill as well.
The guys rotating in. With only these upgraded pistols and, you know, vanilla pistols on the majority of them, you're not expecting too much. Valde might just look to hold on to that CZ and armor. They're going to be buying up next round anyway. Valde indeed. Maybe he finds this AK from Freiburg and that would give him something more to work with. But no, I mean, already S-Tag's in a great spot to trade this away. There's the kill to come through, and Heroic, while they lose 9 rounds in a row, they're quick to bounce back when it all becomes equal and the pressure is applied. 13-10. And for North now, man, I mentioned how it looked like they were going to be buying. The buy isn't going to be too great, all things considered.
Taking the time out alongside with it, just to make sure that everyone knows exactly what's going on. Mixwell, it seems like he'll be on a glass cannon. No, he will get the ammo, okay. No worries.
See, in that previous round, you know, they invested a little bit of armor, a few pistols here and there. Maybe it would have been nice to have seen them forego some of that to get full utility here, have a few more kits in play. And the bomb's gone down quite a lot. They haven't really been able to stop the slower rounds from Heroic as a result of that more limited utility pool we've seen them with. But regardless, this is the best buy they've had in a while. The AWP out for Mixwell. Smokes across the board, 2 incendiaries as well. But S-Tag does still have his AWP over on the side of Heroic to look to go toe-to-toe with the Spaniard over on North. All right, just looking like they want to throw a set piece in, setting up outside of A, lining up all the smokes and flashes, going to rain them down, block off across connector and stairs.
I like the fact that they're trying to go for a quick A play in this very important round. Shows a lot of confidence in the ability of the opening players.
They go barreling on in, Risk leading the way. It's going to be Modi spearheading the charge. Bomb's going to go down, looking like it's going to be a 5v5 retake unless a frag comes in soon. They try to boost up Mixwell down here in Connector, but he can't find anything.
Mixwell is so close to hitting this shot through the wall. Modi will be on the other side of Murder Hole, and this should be the round done right now. With this position that Modi has, it's over. This round at least. Nice from AC though, turning it around. Modi missing a bit of the spray there. So still a 4v3. But the positions.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have to save here. You can't justify going for it. There'd be eco into the next round. It's going to be 14 to 10. If they lost everything, it would have just been pistols across the board, and then you either force buy to the very end. This time, at least they have a bit more to work with.
The aggressive push from Modi there, getting that first frag, going through Murder Hole, getting the CT position is key in this round here. And also in general, just choosing to go for a very fast-paced aggressive play in a very important round like this that's technically almost securing them the map and the game. That's such a ballsy call from Brazilian. Just making sure that, okay, yes, we have our set pieces on point. Let's just go for it. We know that we can win these battles right now. The confidence is definitely very real on the Heroic side.
North, they've partial brought down enough so that they have some substance around these rifles and then can still muster a bite into the 26th round if they lose this. But Heroic, one away from match point. There's the openers found, courtesy of Freiburg and S-Tag rather. Valde on triple. He's going to need more than that though. Round, that's the bomb plant denied now with a rifle, but S-Tag quick to find him. Kirby's left 1v4. And while we saw him manage a 1v4 of epic proportions on their T side, it's just not happening with only 17 HP on his CT half. 15 to 10, match point for Heroic, and one final buy for North.
That's also something that I've noticed as well between these two teams. Even before the game started, there was smiles all around even before the game started for the guys over at Heroic, while North, they always have this thing looming over them because we always expect them to do well. North are always under pressure, it seems like. There are no easy games for them. And that can take a toll on the player if he's always expected to do well, and sometimes it's not that easy. Heroic on the other side, they just look like they're happy. That's not really analysis, but that's just like case in point.
They just look like they're happy. I know, Risk, and sometimes the positive vibes go a long way. Everyone's smiling over in the Heroic camp. It smiles around. You can see the stressed faces on North. Playing in those decider matches tomorrow, the best of threes, that's where it really does become a bit more of a grind.
Top mid smoke, mollo towards connector, flash to deter any aggression top mid. So right now, Heroic just making sure that no one's going to be pushing them, and then they're just playing very defensively, set in this default, pretty much allowing map control if the CTs want to go aggressive on A, but not allowing them to get the whole thing. And then maybe if S-Tag can get an opening here, they're going to explode B, but I'm curious to see what this strat is going to be like. This is a unique setup, to say the least, from Heroic.
See, MSL's got some balls on him to keep going for this. Missed shot from S-Tag this time around, but we've seen that lead to a man advantage so many times it feels like for Heroic on their T side. Not punished this time though. And now, actually slowly but surely, Kirby wrapped around over here towards short. Gonna keep an eye on connector and mid. 45 seconds left, time ticking down. Valde in connector. Keep a beady eye over here into middle. S-Tag pushing up through apartments.
Nice Molotov timing.
Yeah, gonna rein in, that holds it back, and that's gonna buy that much more time now and runs the clock down for Heroic. The pressure's well and truly on, but MSL offers himself up to S-Tag, free of charge, and now it's Kirby left to anchor this B-bomb site. He's got to go above and beyond to keep North in this game, and he has managed to burst Freiburg. Answers back as best he can. Him and Mixwell looking like they might be able to get this done as the bomb's dropped out in the open. Heroic have to go for the bomb plant. Mixwell, he only has to find one kill. He's on him, he's landing the knife, but S-Tag gets the shot, and Heroic, they're gonna win this out 16 to 10. Mixwell trying to be the smoke criminal, and it does not happen. And that will be Heroic winning out this winners match. They secure themselves a spot in the semis and a chance now to go and look around this beautiful city.
Yeah. Also a chance to have some more practice time, a chance to kind of anti-strike their opponents coming into day 3 because they're going to skip day 2. But congratulations to Heroic, great side so far from them. North, some stuff they need to work on, definitely some potential. We saw AZ having a decent game here as well. And I'm still not like thoroughly impressed with the stand-in here, Mixwell. Like, he's a very, very good player, but hasn't really shown some of the level that we know from him. So I'm expecting to see a lot more fireworks from him when we go into tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think praise as well the way of Vasilian. It started to feel like, you know, it was going to very quickly turn sour for North, and then he's able to get back on top of things. With his ability to iron out creases, I could really use getting a hold of him. You know, I'm in a bit of trouble there.
Same
but yeah, I mean, great stuff from Heroic. A fantastic recovery. If AZ can keep that format, though, I do think North are going to be a threat looking to the future, right?
Definitely, and that's the thing, right, for North. This is not just a quick fix. They're not just like applying this Band-Aid onto the lineup. They want to fix the whole thing, and that's why they're thinking about different opportunities. And this is just one of the tests. But to talk about that and a lot more, we have the analyst disc ready.
Didn't see you there. We were just celebrating that.
Were we celebrating?
I don't know. Well, we were just kind of reminiscing on the idea that, you know, I'm 5-0 in predictions for the day. I just want to reiterate that. Either way,
we wanted to give you a W, man.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But let's just reflect on that game, because there's a couple of points I want to make here.
Okay.
That's mainly one point. The rounds that North got all in the first half basically came from a clutch from Kirby, a 2v1 situation, killing people through smoke. Yeah. Props there, but as an individual play. AZ just did a contact play out of Palace onto the A bomb site, killed the city spawn player, which forced Heroic to play retake because the bomb site was lost very early in the round and they were elsewhere. There's 2 rounds. AZ wins a 1v2 situation that he really should have had never any stock in after Nico had like a sick 3k from under the balcony. That's 3 rounds, broke the economy, gave them 5 for the first half. That's all of individual plays, right? That's all of individuals doing individual things, not any team-based Counter-Strike. Yeah. Flip over to the second half, AZ continues to go crazy. The kid gets one of the, I would say, top 5 pistol aces in any version of Counter-Strike ever. Yep. That's how sick it was. They snowball, obviously they get the next 2. And then, okay, there's a little bit of work that they have to get done. So I would say 7 or 8 of the rounds that they got were based off individuals, which is not a great place to be, which is not what you want.
Look at some of these highlights. I mean, this is going to obviously not encompass what was an actual slugfest between the 2 teams, but it did look like Heroic were able to keep that composure. They were able to keep calm going forward.
They were the better team.
Yeah, but the thing with Heroic was like they played a very static city side. I kind of felt like, you know, they were going for retakes multiple times, and I won't fault them for that. Like, why do you want to take those fights against pistols, right? Let them get the bomb down. Got a little lucky here and there, but like you pointed out, that one round when Nico was in shadow, they didn't even check that. That was this round. This round, right? That should never have happened. Of course, they managed to clutch it out in the end. Overall, pretty sloppy stuff. Sick pistol ace, probably one of the best I've ever seen with the USP from AZ, but. Here's the thing, I did like the little bit of MSL pushing a B apps. They were playing pretty aggressive towards B apps, right, and trying to get early information. But once Heroic got, kind of figured that out, just went for the set execute towards 8, went for a faster playstyle, and North, they really didn't have much to show for themselves.
S-Tag really doing quite a few wonders there with that big green weapon. I think, you know, he was pretty instrumental in sort of opening up bomb sites, even late into the round, even later into the second half.
Well, you can see here, obviously had 5 entry or opening kills, I think is the best way to look at that. That's from the CT and the T side right now. You look at that number. His movement around window on the CT side was fantastic, the way that he applied himself with the AWP. I think he's really getting a chance to come into his own, and you're getting to see that more and more with this roster.
Well, with this roster, I think only time is going to give them just a little bit more of an advantage, because these guys seemingly have a good formula right now, albeit a new team. And one guy that can give us some insight on that formula and that new team is a man by the name of Adam Freiberg, to say the least. Now, Adam, I got a question for you right off the bat. In this game, there are pistol rounds. And in these pistol rounds, sometimes there's a guy that has one pistol that's just a little bit better than everybody else's. Talk to me about the comms as AZ had that pistol round moment.
I mean, yeah, what to say? he did a sick round. Like, there's nothing we can really do about it. Like, we went on the flash, we smoked up and down stairs, we flashed out. Unfortunately, didn't probably catch the CT guy, and he has one-shots all of us running out apps.
Yeah, he was playing a tight line, a bit of an off angle, not really the expected one, but yeah, that was a sick round by him. But in terms of you guys throughout this game, I was just highlighting the things that they did to win rounds, and it was all based off individuals, where I thought you guys played fantastically as a team. In terms of coming into this, just adding Asilian officially to the roster, how much practice time have you guys had in the lead-in?
About 5 cracks, maybe 6 cracks.
Yeah, so basically in the scheme of Counter-Strike right now, Adam, you're the most prac team.
Yeah, we did have the Stockholm qualifier with Askar Asilion, and we also had the minor, which we don't talk about, and we had 5 or 6 practices after that. So yeah, we haven't had a lot of practice. I think what we're doing really well is like we're just very calm and we're talking about like what we should do. Everyone is coming with their input, and we're just like sharing information across the map. So we're like slowly but steadily working out which is the best decision to go like mid-round. And I think this is working out really good for us right now. We're talking about like, you know, we're splitting A, splitting B when we have the map control. I think North, they did give us a lot of map control in mid a couple of rounds there, like when we sort of figure out that they were just like doing the smokes content, but they left, they rotated the op back to CT. So we just talked about, okay, let's take mid delayed, let's try to boost one window, let's try to just split A. And it worked out really good. Yeah,
I mean, that's something we were actually talking about beforehand, was you guys able to keep that composure. You could see it within the booth outside of the game. You guys had just that right amount of cool level to you. Blade, do you have any questions for Adam?
Yeah, quick question was, I think North strung like 9 rounds together in a row to get a 10-all, right? And then you guys switched something up. Did you guys like kind of realize how they were, you know, playing the city side, like MSL pushing in towards B apps early on, getting information? What did you guys like talk about and, you know, make any changes?
I think, yeah, we just talked about playing it a bit slower. Don't rush into a decision where we're not sure how they're playing. But we wanted to take mid, we wanted to be able to split on them. And it's really hard to play CT on Mirage if you give the T so much map control like we got in mid. And then like it's a bit psychological, mental when you play CS, right? Because we are getting mid pretty easily a couple of rounds, but then we don't really have to take mid with like 4 guys like we did the first couple of rounds. Then we just take mid with 1 or 2, they leave me mid, I do my stuff in mid, and we can work on a site with 4 guys instead, because they don't know if we are like 4 out mid or if I'm alone out mid when we've taken it so many times. So we just trying to build a pattern and work out of that.
Well, you guys did have the successful formula there. Congratulations, Adam. Good job. You guys are obviously moving on now, and I think you're going to have a whole off day. Yeah, only gonna drink protein drinks and go to the gym.
Get in the sun, man. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I need to get a tan here. Oh my god.
You look great.
Glad we're in Valencia, right?
Honestly, you look great, Adam. Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Guys, I have to say this. It was a rough one today for some teams, not necessarily North. They did have a better showing than VP, which could be in Fallout. But I think the only Fallout we need to be talking about right now is Mission Impossible Fallout. That's right, a big movie coming up here in the series that is Mission Impossible. And, well, I grew up watching some of those movies. I think you guys did as well.
Absolutely.
Like I said before, you know, Tom Cruise is an entertaining type of guy. The internet agreed that I could be the Tom Cruise of Counter-Strike.
I think what they don't know, I don't think the internet knows that you're not necessarily Tom Cruise as much as you are a Ted Mosby. That's more of a Chad Burchill that I know. Ted Mosby Burchill. There we go.
Cool. That's a long name. I don't think I'll officially get that one on my passport, but we can work it in. Let's crowbar it as much as we can.
What's one more passport, Chad? Yes, with that being said, it was ultimately Heroic that did power and triumph over North there on Mirage. We do have one more game left, you guys. It's going to be Luminosity versus the Fragsters, and it's going to be our last matchup of the day. Again, a best of 1, and it will be determining who's moving on to the semifinal day.
Semifinals.
Yeah, we're almost there. Let's go to a quick break. We come back and jump right into that action. Can the Brazilians do it? Only time will tell. We'll be right back.
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports